What's good, y'all? What's good, Real Talk Squad? This is Miles. You listen to Real Talk with Miles Johnson, where you know I always keep it real. Now, I've been saying, y'all, I've been BSing just a little bit. I ain't been posting as much full videos as I should. That's going to change. Now, tonight, I'm making my trip from Philly to Atlanta. I'm driving my wheel. I'm driving my Corolla back to Atlanta. It's going to be like a 12, 13-hour drive. Getting back in the A for school. I got my own apartment as well. So you're going to have a whole new setup. You're not going to be seeing the fan in the background. You know, me in my dad's office. You're going to be seeing me in my own crib. I'm already ordering this stuff now to get the whole background, the whole setup nice and sweet for y'all. And it's going to be a blast. We're going to have some guests on there. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on, but tune in for that. For this episode, you've seen the title of it, KD Saga and Serena Williams retiring, episode 112. Now, look, we're going to first start off with the KD Saga. And, man, I feel like every single time in the NBA that when rumors die down or, you know, the news is dying down of the offseason, KD comes back and is like, watch this. Yeah, the little Usher thing, right? Because every time stuff dies down, it's another KD bombshell. And this was a bombshell indeed. Now, KD ended up saying to Joe Tsai in London, went up to him, they had a meeting, it was transparent, it was professional. And what did KD say? I still want to be traded. He also said he will stay in Brooklyn under the condition that that Sean Marks and Steve Nash go. It's either me or them. It's either me or the GM and the coach. KD is a businessman. KD is a genius off the court. Like, he might be as good as he is off the court as he is on the court. I mean, this guy with his business ventures, he is brilliant. One of the smartest guys in basketball off the court, right? He knows what he's doing. He wants to get out of Brooklyn by any means necessary. And if that means giving the owner an ultimatum that you have to either keep me or fire your GM or the coach, that puts the Nets in the position to where it's like, we can't have this guy back at camp. We can't have this guy back on this team. Because how is it going to look if KD is playing for a coach that he publicly basically said, I don't want him. And you either have to keep me and let him go. Or you have to either keep me or let the GM go. Or both of those guys, right? That dynamic will create a toxic locker room. And it's something that the Nets just can't bear. And what we are seeing with these athletes now, whether it was James Harden wanting out of Houston, and he's on record saying we're simply not good enough. I mean, that was wild. I mean, you had his teammates, John Wall, Boogie Cousins, like, what's up with this guy? People calling Harden a bad guy, when in reality, he was doing whatever it took by any means necessary to get out of Houston. And that's exactly what he did. That was a good business move by him, or that's what he wanted to do, right? This is what KD is trying to do. I don't think he actually wants Sean Marks to be fired as a GM. I really don't think so. I think he wants Steve Nash to be fired. I think he looks at that drop-off from Steve Kerr to Steve Nash. He's like, this guy doesn't know what the heck he's doing. I bet he's thinking in his head like, dang, I didn't like Steve Kerr that much, but he's better than Steve Nash. I mean, he has me playing 48 minutes a night during the playoffs, just saying, here, KD, make something happen. I can't draw up a play for nobody else. You know, I don't know any X's and O's, but I'm gonna just give it to you and have you run around the court for 48 minutes and have you just, you know, do what you want to do, right? And we should have known when Kyrie said, well, we can just be the coach. Like we don't need a coach. That should have been the end right there. People should have known, okay, that's the end right there. Because if you're saying that, I mean, you have no regard, no respect for, Steve Nash as a coach. So I definitely believe that KD wants Steve Nash to be fired. But I don't think he actually wants Sean Marks to be fired. I think it's part of his tactic to try and get out of Brooklyn by any means necessary. Now with Sean Marks, he's done everything in his power to appease KD. So when KD and Kyrie got to Brooklyn, they wanted Kenny Atkinson fired and wanted Steve Nash. Sean Marks did that. They then wanted to trade all their assets for James Harden. Did that. Then, matter of fact, before KD even got there, before KD even played a game for the Nets, he signs a 4-year deal, or he signed a 4-year deal, right? Meaning that he's still going to get paid, even though he's not even going to be available for 1 year because of the ACL injury in 2019. So not only did Sean Marks secure KD long term, especially with that contract extension last year, not only did he get the guy that KD wanted, not only did he get the coach that KD wanted, not only did he bring in DeAndre Jordan, who we all know shouldn't have gotten that mega contract, but did because of KD. Sean Marks has done everything in his power to appease KD. So for him to say that he, wants Sean Marks fired, I just simply don't believe that. And people saying, KD is doing this because he doesn't like how they treated Kyrie. That makes no sense. Kyrie Irving opted in to his contract, and he will be a Brooklyn Net next season unless he gets traded. Why would he be mad at management instead of being mad at Kyrie Irving? Obviously, he's mad at Kyrie Irving, bro. Let's not sugarcoat it. He's mad at Kyrie Irving. Because what sense would it make is that I'm so adamant to get traded from the team that my best friend is on? Like, for instance, I've had situations that I worked with, my friends at a supermarket or something like that, and we didn't like our boss. But you know what? I wasn't so adamant on leaving that situation just because of my boss, because guess what? I still have my friend. KD, you still have Kyrie. At the end of the day, if y'all ball out this season, go to the finals, win a chip, Kyrie Irving will get his long-term deal. So I don't think the fact that Kyrie didn't get a long-term deal, that's the reason why KD wants out. That just doesn't even make any sense. That makes no sense to me. If it is, all right, but it makes no sense to me. Obviously, I think he's mad at Kyrie, and he doesn't want to make that public, though, which is very honorable, and he's blaming it on management. He's blaming it on the coach, right? And all this is just a tactic for him, KD, to get his wish and get traded for whatever reasons that he has. But I don't believe that his reason for wanting out is because he's mad at management. He's mad at Kyrie Irving. Now, I just believe that KD has some balls, knowing that most fans, they won't like this move that he made. Most fans probably won't like the fact that KD, after getting swept by the Celtics, wants the very coach that he wanted to be hired to be fired. It don't look too good. It don't look too good. And, the fact that the Nets have put KD in a position to win, and he's not that grateful, is another reason why a lot of fans won't like what he has to say. But hey, KD is at a point in his life where I feel like he cares what people thinks, but he makes moves to act like he doesn't care what people thinks, because the moves he's made make him look very, very bad, make him look pretty bad, and he's still acting like, what, this is my decision, this is my move, I'm gonna stick by it. And you can only respect that to an extent, but at the same time, it's like, dude, what do you want? All right, what do you want? I mean, if you're gonna leave the Nets, you should have stayed in Golden State the whole entire time. I mean, Stephen A has said, Steph Curry, he's gonna be remembered as the guy who left Steph Curry, and he's pretty much gonna be remembered as the guy that left Steph Curry unless he wins a championship. Because KD's problem is that he listened to what people had to say when people were saying that he's not going to get credit for the titles in Golden State. Whole time, if he stayed in Golden State, by now he might have 5 rings. By now, he would be regarded as easily top 10 of all time, probably top 7, right? But instead of not caring what people thought, he did care what people thought. He did care what people thought, and he ended up leaving the Warriors. And him leaving Golden State, put it up in the air for people to speculate on whether or not the Warriors really needed KD. And the worst case scenario happened. The Warriors won the chip, and Kevin Durant gets swept in the first round. So this playoffs made KD just look very, very bad. And if he just stayed with Golden State, none of this would even be a thought, because it wouldn't be like even a scenario, right? So that's KD's fault for even, being in this situation in the first place. Because if you stayed in Golden State, I mean, it's just perfect. I mean, LeBron. I mean, people talk about LeBron James coming back to Cleveland. Best believe if he had Steph Curry in Miami, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, he is not coming back to Cleveland, bro. Let's just be clearly honest. I mean, what a fool will leave Golden State. An absolute fool will leave Golden State. I mean, so I don't know what KD is thinking, but hey, this is his life. This is what he wants to do. Amen. And it gives me more content to bring to y'all. See, KD, we're going to see what happens, but, you could have avoided this by just staying in Golden State. Now, let's get into Serena Williams retiring from tennis. When I saw this, I was heartbroken, because this is one of the greatest athletes, talking about men or women, just simply one of the greatest athletes the world has ever seen. Her dominance. I was watching Serena when I was a little kid, teenager. Now I'm a young adult, and I still watch Serena to this day. Whenever there is a Serena match, I'm running to my TV to go ahead and watch it. I mean, it's just pure greatness. Now, I'm not the biggest tennis fan, but she's one of those type of players that's like, it doesn't matter what sport you like, you want to see greatness at the highest level. And I just want to see greatness, no matter what sport it is, played at the highest level. And that's exactly what Serena Williams brought to us. So I just want to thank Serena for her years of brilliance. Serena Williams became a pro tennis player at the age of 14 years old. And now she's basically about to retire at like 40 years old, basically, right? 41. That's crazy. So that's like 27 years, right? That's like 26, 27 years playing tennis. That's like crazy, bro. I'm 21. That's longer than my life. She's been playing tennis. That's crazy. And what's even crazier, they don't make athletes like Serena Williams no more. They simply don't. For her to be a phenom as a young kid, I mean, her dad literally said, "Oh, Venus is nice, but Serena will be the greatest of all time." And guess what? Instead of crumbling under the pressure, she lived up to it and surpassed the pressure. Throughout all the sexism and racism she faced, through winning the Australian Open pregnant, I mean, I can't say enough about how much Serena Williams has battled through adversity and battled through the ups and downs of being an athlete. And I don't think a lot of athletes today would be built to do what Serena Williams did. And we talk about athletes that they're not taking these breaks. They're not, they're not just making excuses as to why they're not playing. We have to appreciate the athletes that they're under pressure and scrutiny, and they still perform to the highest level. And you can bet without a doubt that they're gonna bring their A game every time. So like the Serenas, the LeBrons, the Ronaldos, the Messis, the Steph Currys, the Giannis's. I mean, these athletes, it's Tom Brady's. I mean, the fact that they have this pressure on them and they continue to produce. And even besides Steph Curry and Giannis, right? Talk about phenoms at a young age. LeBron, a Serena, a Tiger, Ronaldo, a Messi. These athletes literally were phenoms as a young kid, and they lived up and surpassed expectations. Nowadays, athletes, they get a little bit of fame at a young age. They show out, but they can't sustain greatness, right? Talk about the greatest athletes of all time. They were able to sustain greatness for a long period of time and to be consistent. To be consistently great is something that is rare. A lot of times people, they just don't take it as serious, right? They, their love for the game, wanes after a certain period of time. Serena, again, was faced with the most pressure an athlete could ever face, with basically her and her sister being the first trailblazers of a sport, in a sport where people don't look like them, and they took it over. I mean, let's talk about the dominance that Serena Williams and Venus Williams had in the 2000s. Between 2002 to 2003. No, not even. Let's go to 2002 to 2010. I'm about to go all the awards, all the Grand Slams that Serena won. So in 2002, she won the French Open. In 2002, she won the Wimbledon. In 2002, she won the U.S. Open. 2003, she won the Australian Open. 2003, she won Wimbledon. 2004, she won Wimbledon. 2005, she won Australian Open. 2007, she won the Australian Open. 2008, she won Wimbledon. 2008, she won the U.S. Open. 2009, she won the Australian Open. 2009, she won Wimbledon. 2010, she won the Australian Open. 2010, she won Wimbledon. That is ridiculous. That is just flat out ridiculous, bro. And then guess who was the runner up in most of those? Venus Williams, right? So that tandem, we will never see something like that ever again, of two girls with all the pressure on them. Not even just game wise. We're talking about racism, talking about sexism that they face, and they still persevere through that. They don't make athletes like that, now, bro. They just simply don't. The only athlete I can really think of, and he hasn't even faced the sexism, is LeBron, a guy, and Ronaldo and all those guys I mentioned, that they were at a young age, were prodigies, and they lived up and surpassed expectations. I mean, it's just like a privilege to watch this greatness, and I hope that when we see her perform, she gets the flowers that she deserves, and we realize and take it in that an athlete like Serena is once in a lifetime, not a generation, a freaking lifetime. We're never gonna see an athlete like Serena Williams ever again. And again, it's just greatness. And no matter what sport you like, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, whether it's soccer, track and field, we have to appreciate greatness and athletes living up to expectations and living up to the pressure, fighting through it amidst all the adversity that they have faced, amidst all the adversity that they faced. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. I want to know y'all thoughts on the KD saga. Are you mad at KD? Not mad at KD? Think he made the right move? Did not make the right move? Let me know down below in the comments. And Serena, give me y'all's favorite Serena Williams moment in the comments down below. I want to see it. Man, she's an all-time great that we will very, very miss. This is Real Talk Miles Johnson, where I always keep it real. I'm out, y'all.